The mansion fell silent for the first time in 6 months the morning Luna Caruso knelt on marble floors and made breakfast for 3 children who had driven away every caretaker before her. No threats. No bribes. Just scrambled eggs and patience. Dario Colonna stood frozen in the doorway, tattoo dark against his clenched wrist, watching this broke maid do what no trained professional could, quiet the chaos he'd learned to ignore. Something shifted in his chest. Something dangerous. Please like, share and subscribe. The 17th nanny quit at 4:47 a.m. Luna heard the woman's heels click rapidly down the corridor outside the servants' quarters, heard the choked sob that followed, heard the heavy front door slam with enough force to rattle the windows. She didn't move from her narrow bed. The estate had been bleeding staff for months. Luna had learned not to get attached to faces that wouldn't last the week. Outside, dawn crept gray and reluctant over the Colonna grounds. The mansion sprawled across 10 acres of manicured brutality, all iron gates and security cameras and roses that looked expensive to maintain and impossible to enjoy. Luna had been hired as a maid 3 weeks ago. Bare minimum pay. Live-in quarters. 1 day off monthly. She'd taken it without hesitation. Desperate didn't begin to cover it. By 6 a.m. Luna was already in the kitchen. The head housekeeper, Mrs. Greco, stood at the center island looking older than she had yesterday. Her hands trembled slightly as she poured coffee. "That's 17, Mrs. Greco said quietly. Luna nodded, pulling cleaning supplies from beneath the sink. "Mr. Colonna will be furious." "He's always furious," one of the other maids muttered from the corner. Mrs. Greco's glare could have stripped paint. "Show respect." Silence settled heavy and uncomfortable. Luna kept her head down, spraying counters that were already spotless. The Colonna estate ran on fear and pristine surfaces. She'd learned that her first day. The children? Mrs. Greco asked no one in particular. "Still asleep," someone answered. "For now." The words carried weight. Dread. Luna had seen the triplets exactly twice since arriving. Both times from a distance. Both times during what the staff quietly called episodes. Screaming. Thrown objects. Chaos that sent trained nannies fleeing. Nico, Luca and Matteo. 4 years old. Identical. Untamed. "He'll hire another," Mrs. Greco said, but she didn't sound convinced. "He always does." Dario Colonna didn't sleep. He stood in his office on the estate's 2nd floor, windows overlooking grounds he barely saw anymore, and read the nanny's resignation email for the 3rd time. "I cannot continue under these circumstances. The children require professional intervention beyond my capabilities. I wish you and your family well." Professional intervention. As if he hadn't tried everything. As if money could solve problems rooted deeper than discipline. Dario deleted the email and poured another scotch he wouldn't drink. The glass sat untouched on his desk, amber liquid catching early light. His reflection stared back from the darkened window. Tattoo visible along his collarbone where his shirt hung open. Italian script wound across skin like a brand. Famiglia. Honor. Say. Family. Honor. Blood. The words felt like accusations lately. His phone buzzed. A message from his consigliere Marco. "Meeting at 9. Romano situation needs addressing." Dario's jaw tightened. The Romano family had been pushing boundaries for months. Testing. Probing. Looking for weakness. They'd found it. A widowed boss struggling with 3 children he couldn't control and an empire that demanded his constant attention. A man stretched too thin to be truly dangerous anymore. Dario set his phone face down and rolled his sleeves. The tattoo along his forearm caught light. More script, more legacy, more weight. Downstairs something shattered. Then screaming started. Luna was wiping down the dining room when she heard it. High-pitched. Furious. Multiple voices layered into chaos. She moved toward the sound without thinking. The kitchen had transformed into a war zone. Matteo stood on the center island, syrup-covered and shrieking. Nico threw silverware at the cabinets with impressive accuracy. Luca dumped an entire box of cereal onto the floor, laughing wildly. Mrs. Greco stood frozen near the stove. 2 other staff members hovered near the doorway, afraid to intervene. And in the corner, barely visible through the chaos, Dario Colonna watched his children destroy his kitchen with an expression that could have been carved from stone. His tattoo was stark against white shirt cuffs rolled to his elbows. His hands hung loose at his sides. Controlled. Contained. Dangerously still. Luna's first instinct was to back away. Her second instinct was stronger. She walked directly into the chaos. Mateo. Her voice cut through the screaming. Not loud. Just clear. The boy on the island paused mid-shriek. Luna moved closer, slow and deliberate. She didn't reach for him. Didn't scold. Just knelt so they were eye level. You're angry, she said simply. Mateo's face crumpled. His little fists clenched. I know, Luna continued. It's okay to be angry. Behind her, Nico's silverware throwing slowed. Stopped. Luca looked up from his cereal pile. The kitchen held its breath. But I'm hungry, Luna said, still kneeling. Are you hungry? Mateo's lip trembled. I could make breakfast, she offered. If you help me clean this up first. Silence stretched. Then Mateo nodded. 20 minutes later, 3 syrup-sticky children sat at the island eating scrambled eggs. No one spoke. Luna worked at the stove, adding butter to the pan, keeping her movements calm and predictable. The triplets watched her like she might disappear if they blinked. Mrs. Greco stood near the sink, eyes wide. The other staff had vanished. And Dario hadn't moved from the doorway. Luna felt his gaze like pressure against her spine. Heavy. Sussing. She didn't turn around. More? She asked Luca quietly. He nodded, pushing his plate forward. She added eggs. Added cheese. Worked in silence while 3 traumatized children ate breakfast for the first time in what was probably weeks. When she finally glanced toward the doorway, Dario was gone. But something in the air had changed. Later that morning, Luna was scrubbing syrup from the floor when Mrs. Greco appeared. Mr. Kalana wants to see you. Luna's hands stilled. Did I? His office. Now. The walk upstairs felt eternal. Luna had never been to the second floor. Staff kept to servant areas unless specifically summoned. The corridor was different here. Darker wood, richer carpet, portraits of severe-looking men who all shared Dario's bone structure. His office door stood open. He sat behind a massive desk, phone pressed to his ear, speaking rapid Italian. The tattoo along his collarbone was visible above his collar. He gestured once, sharp and dismissive, and whoever was on the other end apparently ended the call. Dario set the phone down and looked at her. Luna stopped breathing. His eyes were darker than she'd realized. Not brown. Nearly black. They tracked over her face with an intensity that felt invasive. You're the maid, he said. Not a question. Yes, sir. Luna. Hearing her name in his voice did something strange to her pulse. You've been here 3 weeks. Yes, sir. And this morning you fed my children. Luna's throat tightened. I'm sorry if I overstepped. They ate. She blinked. Dario leaned back in his chair. The movement was slight, but it shifted his shirt enough to reveal more of the tattoo script winding across his chest. They haven't eaten a full meal in 2 months, he said quietly. Nannies try to force it. Doctors recommend routines. Nothing works. Luna didn't know what to say. You knelt on my kitchen floor and made them scrambled eggs. They were hungry. They're always hungry. They refused to eat. They were scared, Luna corrected, then immediately regretted it. Dario's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. Scared of what? Luna hesitated. This was dangerous territory. Commenting on a Mafia boss's parenting felt like signing her own termination papers. But he was waiting. Being left again, she said quietly. The words hung between them. Dario's jaw tightened. The tattoo along his collarbone seemed to darken. Their mother. I don't know the situation, sir. But children that age, they remember loss even if they can't articulate it. Silence. Luna wanted to run. Then Dario stood. He rounded the desk with movements that were too controlled to be casual. Stopped 3 feet away. Close enough that she could see the silver threading through dark hair at his temples. Close enough to notice he smelled like expensive cologne and something darker underneath. The agency won't send another nanny, he said. We're blacklisted. Luna's stomach dropped. I need someone who can handle them. Sir, I'm not qualified. You got them to eat. Once. Which is more than anyone else managed. His gaze pinned her. I'm offering you the position. Luna's pulse hammered. I'm a maid. Now you're a nanny. I have no training. You have patience. He stepped closer. Not threatening. His present. Overwhelming. And they responded to you. Luna's hands twisted together. What about my other duties? Someone else will clean. His voice dropped. I need you with my children. The way he said need made something coil tight in her chest. Triple your current salary, Dario added. Same quarters. But your only job is Nico, Luca, and Matteo. Triple. Luna's throat went dry. She was 2 months behind on her mother's medical bills. Living on pasta and determination. Sleeping in a room barely larger than a closet. Triple meant survival. Triple meant breathing room. She started. Dario's phone buzzed. He ignored it. His attention stayed locked on her face with an intensity that felt almost physical. One condition, he said. Of course there was. You don't quit. Luna blinked. Sir. Everyone quits. His voice was quiet but edged with something raw. The children have had 17 nannies in 6 months. They're 4 years old and they've learned that people leave. The tattoo flexed as his hand curled into a fist. So you don't quit, Dario continued. You have a problem, you bring it to me. You're overwhelmed, you tell me. You need help, you ask. His gaze burned. But you don't walk away from them. Luna's chest ached. She thought about her own childhood. About being passed between relatives who didn't want her. About learning young that love was conditional and presence was temporary. I won't quit, she heard herself say. Dario studied her for a long moment. Then he extended his hand. Luna stared at it. At the tattoo script winding across his knuckles. At the controlled strength and scarred fingers. She shook his hand. His grip was warm. Firm. It lingered a second too long. Start today, Dario said. The triplets tested her immediately. Nico dumped an entire jug of milk on the floor during lunch. Luca refused to speak, communicating only through shrieks. Matteo bit her. Shli bit her. Drew blood. Luna cleaned the milk. Sat beside Luca in silence until he pointed at what he wanted. Bandaged her hand while Matteo watched with huge guilty eyes. It's okay to be angry, she told him. But we don't hurt people. Matteo burst into tears. Luna held him while he sobbed against her shoulder. That evening she found Dario in the hallway outside the children's room. He stood in shadow, tattoo barely visible at his collar. Watching through the cracked door as the triplets played quietly with blocks. They're calmer, he said without looking at her. They're testing boundaries. Matteo bit you. Luna's hand throbbed. He's scared. Dario turned then. His gaze dropped to her bandaged hand. Something dark crossed his expression. He hurt you. He's 4. That's not an excuse. It's not about excuses. Luna met his eyes. It's about understanding what he's trying to say when he doesn't have the words. Dario stared at her. In the room beyond, Nico laughed, small and genuine. Something in Dario's expression cracked. He looked away quickly, jaw tight. Dinner's at 7, he said roughly. Join us. Sir, I usually eat with the staff. You're their nanny. You eat with the family. Luna's pulse jumped. I don't think. 7, Dario repeated. Then he walked away, tattoo disappearing into darkness, leaving her alone in the hallway with her racing heart and the sound of children who might finally be healing. Dinner was excruciating. The dining room was too large, too formal, too heavy with portraits of dead Kalanas judging from the walls. The triplets sat in matching high chairs, miraculously clean. Dario sat at the head of the table, shirt crisp, tattoo visible where his cuffs were rolled back. Luna sat to his right. Too close. She could feel the weight of his presence like gravity. Nico threw a piece of pasta. Dario's gaze shifted to his son. Silent. Loaded. Nico froze. The pasta stayed on his plate. Tell Luna about your day, Dario said to the table at large. Silence. Then Matteo, small voice barely audible. We built a castle. Dario's expression softened infinitesimally. What kind of castle? Big one. With towers. Strong towers. Matteo nodded seriously. Luna's chest tightened watching them. Watching Dario try so hard to connect with children who'd learned to expect abandonment. Luca tugged her sleeve. She leaned down. He whispered in her ear. Luca wants to show you the castle after dinner, Luna translated. Dario's gaze locked on her. He spoke to you? In his way. Something flickered in those dark eyes. Something that made her skin warm. The meal continued in careful quiet. Later, when the triplets had been bathed and tucked in, Luna found Dario on the terrace outside the dining room. He stood at the railing, smoke curling from a cigarette, tattoo stark against the open collar of his shirt. She should have left. Instead she stepped outside. "They're asleep," she said. Dario didn't turn. All three. Matteo took longer. He wanted another story. "You read to them. Is that not allowed?" "It's..." He paused. Took a drag. "No one's read to them since their mother." Luna's throat closed. She moved to the railing. Not too close. But close enough to see the tension in his shoulders. "How long?" she asked quietly. 11 months. "I'm sorry." "Don't be." His voice was flat. She left. Walked out when they were 3. Filed for divorce. Died in a car accident before it was finalized. Luna's breath caught. Dario exhaled smoke. They don't remember her much. But they remember the leaving. That's why the nannies. They think everyone leaves. Because everyone does. He finally looked at her. "You will too." It wasn't accusation. Just fact. Resignation. Luna held his gaze. "I told you I wouldn't. People lie." "I don't." Dario studied her face. The cigarette burned forgotten between his fingers. His tattoo caught moonlight, script winding across his collarbone like a promise made in ink. "Why?" he asked quietly. "Why what? Why stay? The money's good but not worth this. The children are difficult. The situation is..." He gestured vaguely. "Complicated." Luna thought about her answer carefully. "I know what it feels like," she said finally. "To be left behind. To learn that people only stay until something better comes along." He swallowed. No child should grow up feeling disposable. Dario went very still. "Your family?" he asked. "Passed around between relatives who didn't want another mouth to feed. Learned early to be useful so they'd keep me longer." She smiled without humor. "I got good at being invisible." His gaze darkened. "You're not invisible." The words landed heavier than they should. Luna's pulse jumped. Dario took a final drag and crushed the cigarette in a marble ashtray. When he turned fully toward her, the terrace suddenly felt much smaller. "The children need consistency," he said. "Routine. Someone who won't disappear." "I understand." "Do you?" He stepped closer. "Because I need to know you meant it. That you won't quit when things get hard." Luna lifted her chin. "I don't quit. Even if they push you away? Especially then. Even if..." He stopped. "Even if what?" Dario's jaw worked. The tattoo flexed with the movement. "Nothing," he said roughly. "Just, stay." It sounded less like an order and more like a plea. Luna nodded. Something in his expression shifted. Relief. Or maybe something more dangerous. He stepped back, creating distance that felt deliberate. "It's late," he said. "You should rest." Dismissed. Luna turned to go, but his voice stopped her. "Luna." She looked back. Dario stood silhouetted against the night, tattoo barely visible, eyes shadowed. "Thank you," he said quietly. "For today." Her throat tightened. She nodded once and fled before she could do something stupid like ask why his gratitude felt so much like goodbye. The next 3 weeks reshaped the mansion. The triplets still had rough days. Still tested boundaries. Still woke screaming from nightmares. But they also laughed. They also ate. They also started trusting that Luna would be there when they opened their eyes. She established routines. Morning breakfast together. Afternoon playtime. Evening stories. Nothing revolutionary. Present. Consistent. Dario watched from doorways. Luna felt his gaze constantly. At breakfast when she helped Matteo with his spoon. During playtime when she built block towers for Luca to knock down. At bedtime when she read stories in different voices until all 3 boys giggled. He never interrupted. Just watched with an expression that grew more complex each day. One evening, Luna came downstairs after putting the triplets to bed and found him in the library. He sat in a leather chair, papers spread across his lap, tattoo visible where his sleeves were pushed up. He looked exhausted. "They're asleep?" he asked without looking up. "Matteo wanted you to know he finished his vegetables." Dario's lips almost curved. All of them. Everyone. He set the papers aside and scrubbed a hand across his face. The movement revealed more of the tattoo, script running down his forearm in elegant lines. Luna knew she should leave. She sat in the chair across from him instead. Dario raised an eyebrow. You look tired, she said. That's inappropriate to mention to your employer. So is having dinner with the family. Apparently we're breaking all kinds of rules. His almost smile became almost real. Difficult day? Luna asked. Difficult year. He leaned back. The business requires constant attention. Alliances shift. Rivals test boundaries. And I have 3 children who need their father. You're doing your best. My best isn't enough. They're healing, Luna said firmly. They smile now. They eat. They sleep through most nights. Because of you. Because they feel safe. Dario's gaze sharpened. And you? Do you feel safe here? The question caught her off guard. He thought about it. About living in a mansion owned by a mafia boss. About the armed security. About the constant awareness of danger lurking at the edges. Yes, she said honestly. Dario studied her for a long moment. You shouldn't, he said quietly. Why? Because this world. He gestured vaguely. It destroys soft things. Luna held his gaze. I'm not as soft as you think. Yes, Dario said voice low. You are. And that's the problem. The air between them felt charged. Luna's pulse hammered. Dario stood abruptly. Moved to the window. Put distance between them. It's late, he said without turning. You should rest. Dismissed again. Luna left before she could analyze why his words felt like both warning and confession. The incident happened on a Tuesday. Luna was in the garden with the triplets. They were hunting for worms, Nico's idea, and covered in dirt. A car pulled up to the front entrance. Expensive. But windows tinted. 3 men emerged. Luna's instincts screamed danger. She gathered the triplets quickly. Inside. Now. But the worms. Now Nico. Something in her tone made them obey. She herded them through the side entrance, heart pounding as raised voices echoed from the front hall. Dario's voice. Pulled. Controlled. Dangerous. Another man's voice. Bucking. Fool. Luna got the children to their room and locked the door. Stay here, she whispered. Don't come out until I get you. Mateo's eyes were huge. Is Papa mad? Papa's working. I'll be right back. He crept to the hallway. The voices were clearer now. Thinking you could ignore our arrangement. There is no arrangement, Romano. Romano. Luna's blood froze. He'd heard that name. Heard the staff whisper about the Romano family. About territory disputes. About violence. Your answer is still no then, the stranger said. My answer will always be no. Even with those children as leverage? Silence. Then Dario's voice, soft as death. You threaten my sons? I'm simply pointing out vulnerabilities. The sound of impact. Someone hitting a wall. Luna pressed her hand to her mouth. You come to my home, Dario said, voice like ice over rage. You threaten my children. You think I won't paint these walls with your blood. Kill me and you start a war you can't win. Try me. Footsteps. Rapid. Retreating. A door slammed. Silence. Luna waited, barely breathing. Then Dario's voice, rough. Luna. She stepped into view. He stood in the hallway, tattoo stark against white knuckles, chest heaving. His shirt was torn. Blood at his collar, not his. Their eyes met. You heard, he said. Not a question. Luna nodded. The children. Safe. Locked in their room. Something in his expression cracked. You protected them. Of course. He moved toward her. Fast. She backed into the wall. Not threatening. But overwhelming. Intense. Dario braced one hand beside her head. The tattoo flexed. His breathing was still uneven. You should be terrified, he said quietly. I am. Then why are you still here? Luna met his eyes. Because they need me. And that's the only reason? Her pulse hammered. Should there be another? Dario's gaze dropped to her mouth. Lingered. Then he pushed away, putting distance between them like it physically hurt. Get the children, he said roughly. Keep them in their room tonight. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone but me. What's happening? War. He looked at her. The kind I kept away from this house for months. Until now. The Romano family will be dealt with. His voice was cold. Absolute. But until then you stay with them. Understand? Luna nodded. Luna. He stepped closer again. Close enough that she could see the barely controlled fury in his eyes. If anyone tries to get to them through you, I won't let them. You're one woman. I won't let them, she repeated firmly. Dario stared at her. Something blazed in his expression. Something that looked dangerously like admiration. Go, he said hoarsely. Now. He stopped. Just go. Luna fled. That night she stayed with the triplets. They slept fitfully, sensing tension even through locked doors. Luna sat in a chair by the window watching the grounds. Security had tripled. Armed men patrolled in the shadows. Around midnight a soft knock. It's me, Dario's voice. She unlocked the door. He stood in the hallway, fresh shirt, hair damp from a shower. But his eyes were haunted. They're asleep, he asked quietly. Finally. Dario moved past her into the room. Knelt beside Matteo's bed. Brushed hair from his son's forehead with a gentleness that didn't match his reputation. He did the same with Luca. Nico. Luna watched from the doorway, throat tight. When Dario stood, his expression was raw. I failed them, he said quietly. You protected them. I brought danger to their doorstep. You ended it. Dario's jaw clenched. For now. But Romano was right. They're a vulnerability. As long as I'm their father, they're targets. Luna's chest ached. You can't mean. I should send them away. Somewhere safe. Somewhere my enemies can't touch them. They need you. They need to be alive. They need their father, Luna said fiercely. They've already lost their mother. You think sending them away won't destroy them? Dario's eyes blazed. And keeping them here might kill them. So you'll what? Ship them off to relatives? Boarding school? Some isolated compound where they grow up thinking you abandoned them like she did. His hand shot out, gripping her arm. Not painful. Just desperate. What would you have me do? He asked hoarsely. Fight, Luna said. Fight for them. Protect them. But don't leave them. I'm trying to keep them safe. They're already safe. Here. With you. She stopped. With you, Dario finished quietly. The air went still. His grip on her arm gentled. Became something else. His thumb brushed against her pulse. You would stay, he said. Even knowing the danger. I told you I don't quit. This isn't about quitting. This is about survival. Then I'll survive, Luna said. With them. Dario's gaze searched her face. Why? Because, her voice caught. Because they deserve someone who stays. And me. His voice dropped to barely a whisper. Do I deserve that too? Luna's heart stopped. They stood too close. His hand warm on her arm. His eyes dark and desperate and full of things she shouldn't acknowledge. Sir. Dario, he corrected roughly. When we're alone, call me Dario. That's not appropriate. Nothing about this is appropriate. His other hand came up, hovering near her face. Not touching. Close enough to feel. You're my employee. You care for my children. I shouldn't. He stopped. Jaw clenched. But I do. Luna couldn't breathe. You should go, Dario said, but he didn't move. Didn't step back. Didn't drop his hand. Yes, Luna whispered. Neither of them moved. Behind them, Matteo stirred in his sleep. The spell broke. Dario stepped back, expression shuddering. Keep the door locked. I'll have security doubled outside their wing. Professional. Distant. Luna nodded, not trusting her voice. He left without looking back. She locked the door and leaned against it, pulse racing, trying to process what had just happened. Trying to ignore the truth burning in her chest. This wasn't just about the children anymore. The next morning, everything shifted. Dario called a family meeting. Actual family, not just household staff. His brothers arrived first. Dark. All carrying the same controlled violence in their movements. Then his consigliere Marco. Sharp-suited and sharp-eyed. Then others Luna didn't recognize. Men who looked like they killed for a living. Women who looked like they'd survived worse. The Colonna family. Luna kept the triplets occupied in their room, but Matteo wanted his father. "Papa's busy," she said gently. "I want Papa." She couldn't deny him. They went downstairs. The dining room was full of dangerous people having a dangerous conversation. It stopped when Luna appeared in the doorway with Matteo. Every eye turned to her. Dario's gaze found her immediately. Something flashed in his expression. "Matteo wanted to see you," Luna said quietly. Dario stood, crossed the room, lifted his son into his arms. "Hey Piccolo," he murmured. Matteo buried his face in his father's neck. Luna started to leave, but Dario's voice stopped her. "Stay." Every person in the room looked at her with new interest. One of his brothers, the one with scars across his knuckles, smiled slowly. "This is the nanny?" he asked in accented English. Dario's expression could have frozen hell. "This is Luna." The brother's smile widened. "Interesting." "Not interesting," Dario said flatly. "Off limits." The words landed like a brand. Luna's face burned. The brother raised his hands in mock surrender, but his eyes gleamed with amusement. Marco cleared his throat. Perhaps the children should return upstairs. "I'll take him," Luna said quickly. But Matteo clung to Dario. "It's okay," Dario murmured, pressing a kiss to his son's hair. "Go with Luna. I'll come up when I'm done." "Promise." "Promise." Matteo reluctantly transferred to Luna's arms. She carried him out, feeling the weight of too many stares. Behind her, conversation resumed. But she heard one brother say clearly, "Off limits," he says. As if that's ever stopped. "Enough." Dario's voice. Told. Final. Luna hurried upstairs before she could hear more. That evening, Dario came to the children's room during story time. He stood in the doorway watching Luna read with all three boys crowded around her. When she finished, the triplets noticed him. "Papa." They rushed him. He caught all three laughing, actually laughing as they climbed him like a tree. Luna's heart did something painful. Later, after the boys were asleep, Dario found her in the hallway. "My brother was inappropriate," he said without preamble. "It's fine." "It's not." His jaw tightened. "You're under my protection. Everyone needs to understand that." "Your protection?" "You're part of this household. Which means you're part of this family." His gaze burned. "And family is protected. Always." Luna swallowed hard. "I'm just the nanny." "You're..." He stopped. The tattoo flexed as his hand curled into a fist. "You're more than that." The words hung between them. "Sir. I told you to call me Dario." "That's not appropriate." "Why?" He stepped closer. "Because I employ you? Because I'm too old for you? Because I'm dangerous?" "All of those things." "And if I didn't care about appropriate?" Luna's breath caught. "You should." "I know." His voice dropped. "Believe me, I know." They stood in the shadowed hallway, too close, the air heavy with everything they weren't saying. "The Romano situation is handled," Dario said finally. "For now. But there will be others. There are always others." "I understand." "Do you?" His gaze searched her face. "Do you understand what it means to be connected to this family? The danger. The violence. The constant threat." "I'm not afraid." "You should be." "Why do you keep saying that?" "Because..." His voice roughened. "Because if something happened to you He stopped. Jaw clenched. "The children need you. Not I need you. Just... the children." Luna nodded, ignoring the ache in her chest. "I should go," she said. "Luna." She looked back. Dario stood haloed in dim light, tattoo stark against his throat, expression tortured. "Be careful," he said quietly. Of what, she wanted to ask. But she was afraid she already knew. Weeks passed. The triplets thrived. Started preschool. Made friends. Laughed freely. Luna became permanent. Not just a nanny. Family. She ate dinner with them every night. Dario at the head of the table. The boys between them. Luna to his right. It felt dangerously like something real. Dario's gaze lingered longer each day. His accidental touches became less accidental. Hands brushing when he helped with dishes. Standing too close when they discussed the children. Luna told herself it meant nothing. But her pulse knew better. The staff noticed too. Mrs. Greco started setting Luna's place at the family table without being asked. The other maids whispered in corners. Security nodded to her with a respect they didn't show ordinary employees. Luna existed in a strange limbo, neither servant nor family, but something undefined and dangerous. One afternoon she took the triplets to the library while Dario worked in his study. Nico wanted a book from the high shelf. Luna stretched, fingertips barely grazing the spine. "Allow me." Dario's voice came from behind her. She turned. He stood closer than necessary, tattoo visible where his shirt sleeves were rolled up. He reached past her, didn't touch, but she felt his heat and pulled the book down. Their hands brushed when he gave it to her. Neither pulled away. "Thank you," Luna whispered. Dario's gaze held hers. "Luna." "Papa." "Look." Matteo interrupted, holding up a picture book. The moment shattered. Dario stepped back. Smiled at his son. "Very nice, Piccolo." But when Matteo returned to his brothers, Dario's eyes found Luna again. The want in them stole her breath. That night she couldn't sleep. Luna paced her small room, replaying every interaction. Every lingering look. Every almost touch. She should leave. This was becoming something she couldn't control. But she'd promised not to quit. Promised the children. Promised him. Around 2 a.m. she gave up on sleep and went to the kitchen for tea. The mansion was dark. Silent. She filled the kettle, waiting for water to boil, when footsteps sounded behind her. "Can't sleep either?" Luna spun. Dario stood in the doorway. Barefoot. Sleep pants riding low on his hips. Shirt unbuttoned. The tattoo across his chest was fully visible. Intricate script winding from collarbone to ribs. Famiglia. Honor. Say. And beneath it, smaller words she couldn't read. He tried not to stare. Failed. "Sorry," she stammered. "I didn't mean to wake you." "You didn't." He moved into the kitchen. "I don't sleep much." "Because of the business?" "Among other things." He stood on the opposite side of the island. Safe distance. But the kitchen suddenly felt intimate. Private. The kettle whistled. Luna poured tea with shaking hands. "Want some?" she offered. Dario's lips curved slightly. "I don't drink tea." "Scotchman." "Usually." "But not tonight?" "Not tonight." Silence settled. Not uncomfortable. Just charged. Luna sipped her tea. Felt his eyes tracking the movement. "Why can't you sleep?" Dario asked quietly. "Because of you," she thought. "Just restless," she said. "Liar." Her gaze snapped to his. Dario leaned against the counter, tattoo catching dim light. His expression was unreadable. "You're thinking too much," he said. "About." "The same things I am." Luna's pulse jumped. "And what are you thinking about?" Dangerous question. Dario's eyes darkened. "Things I shouldn't." "Like what?" "Like how wrong this is." His voice dropped. "And how little I care." The air went electric. Luna set her tea down. "Dario. I know all the reasons this can't happen," he said roughly. "You work for me. You care for my children. There's a power imbalance. I'm older. Dangerous. Complicated. Yes. But when I watch you with them." He pushed off the counter. Moved closer. "When you smile at something Matteo says. When you read to them at night. When you make them feel safe." He stopped on the opposite side of the island. Close but not touching. "I want that," he finished hoarsely. "I want to feel safe. With you." Luna's throat closed. "You're the most dangerous man I've ever met," she whispered. "I know. You terrify me." "I know that too." "Then why?" "Because you terrify me more." His hands gripped the counter. Knuckles white. Tattoo flexing. "You came into my home. Healed my children. Made this cold place feel warm again. And his voice broke. "I can't stop thinking about you." Luna couldn't breathe. "Every night," Dario continued, "I tell myself to keep distance. To stay professional. To remember all the reasons this is wrong. And every morning I watch you make them breakfast and forget every reason except one." "Which is?" His gaze burned. "That I'm already too far gone." The confession hung between them. Luna's hands trembled. She should run. Should put distance between them. Should remember her place. Instead she asked, "How far?" Dario's jaw clenched. "Far enough that sending you away would destroy me. Far enough that keeping you close might destroy us both. Then what do we do? I don't know. His voice was raw. Honest. But I can't keep pretending I don't feel this. Luna moved around the island. One step. Two. Dario watched her approach like she was something holy. Forbidden. She stopped within reach. Feel what? She whispered. His control cracked. Dario closed the distance. Hands cupping her face. Forehead pressing against hers. This, he breathed. Everything. Luna's hands found his chest. Felt the tattoo beneath her palms. Felt his heart racing. This is a mistake, she whispered. The biggest. We should stop. We should. Neither moved. Then Dario tilted her chin up. Their eyes met. Tell me no, he said hoarsely. Tell me to walk away. Luna's answer was to rise on her toes. To close the final inch. To kiss him like she'd been dying to for weeks. Dario made a sound, half groan, half surrender, and kissed her back. Desperate. Consuming. His hands slid into her hair. Hers gripped his shoulders. The world narrowed to this, heat and want, and finally giving in. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Dario's expression was wrecked. Luna, he whispered. I know. This changes everything. I know. There's no going back. I don't want to go back. His eyes searched hers. You're sure? Are you? Instead of answering, Dario kissed her again. Slower this time. Thorough. Like memorizing. When he pulled back, his thumb traced her cheek. I should send you away, he said. Keep you safe from this life. From me. Don't. Luna. I'm exactly where I want to be. Dario closed his eyes. Leaned his forehead against hers again. You're going to ruin me, he murmured. Good, Luna whispered. Because you're ruining me too. They stood like that. Wrapped in each other. Until reality intruded. Until Dario's phone buzzed from somewhere distant. He ignored it. Buzzed again. Insistent. You should, Luna started. I don't care. Third buzz. Dario cursed softly in Italian. Pulled away reluctantly. I'm sorry, he said. Business doesn't stop. I understand. He kissed her once more. Quick. Sweet. Promise. Tomorrow, he said. We'll talk about this. About us. About. Tomorrow, Luna agreed. Dario left. Luna stood alone in the kitchen, tea forgotten, pulse racing. What had she just done? He should regret it. He didn't. Not even a little. One night, after a particularly exhausting day, she found him on the terrace again. Same position. Same cigarette. Same haunted expression. Bad day? She asked, stepping outside. He glanced at her. How do you know? You're smoking. I always smoke. Only when you're stressed. Dario's lips curved slightly. Observant. Luna leaned against the railing. Not close. But not distant either. Want to talk about it? Not particularly. Want me to leave? He looked at her then. Really looked. The tattoo at his collarbone caught moonlight. No, he said quietly. I don't. They stood in comfortable silence. Then Dario spoke. My wife left because of this. He gestured vaguely. The business. The danger. She said she couldn't raise children in constant fear. Luna stayed quiet. She was right, Dario continued. This life isn't safe. Isn't normal. Children shouldn't grow up surrounded by violence. But they're your children, Luna said. They need you more than they need safety. That's foolish. That's love. Dario's gaze snapped to hers. They'd rather be here, Luna continued. Scared but with you. Than safe and abandoned. You don't know that. I do. He swallowed. Because I lived it. And I would have taken danger with love over safety alone. Every time. Dario crushed his cigarette. Moved toward her. Luna's back hit the railing. He stopped inches away. Close enough that she could see the silver in his eyes. Close enough to feel his heat. You're making this very difficult, he said roughly. Making what difficult? Keeping my distance. Luna's pulse hammered. Then don't. The words escaped before she could stop them. Dario's eyes went dark. His hand came up, cupping her jaw. Thumb brushing her cheek. You don't know what you're asking, he said hoarsely. I know exactly what I'm asking. I'm your employer. I don't care. I'm too old. I don't care. I'm dangerous. I don't care. Dario's control cracked. His other hand tangled in her hair. Tilted her head back. His forehead pressed against hers. Luna, he breathed. She could feel his restraint fracturing. Could feel the want radiating off him in waves. Tell me to stop, he whispered. Tell me this is wrong. It probably is. Then tell me to leave. Luna's hands came up, gripping his shirt. Feeling the tattoo beneath fabric. Feeling his heartbeat racing under her palms. Don't leave, she whispered. Dario made a sound like pain. Then his mouth found hers. The kiss was desperate. Consuming. Like drowning and breathing all at once. His hands gripped her waist. Pulled her close. She melted against him. Years of loneliness. Months of tension. Weeks of denial. All of it combusted. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Dario's expression was wrecked. This is a mistake, he said. Probably. I'm your employer. I noticed. I have enemies. Complications. 3 children. I'm aware. You deserve better. Luna cupped his face, feeling stubble rasp against her palms. Feeling the tattoo pulse beneath her fingers. I don't want better, she said. I want you. Dario closed his eyes. Leaned into her touch. You're going to destroy me, he murmured. Good, Luna whispered. Because you're destroying me too. He kissed her again. Slower this time. Thorough. Reverent. When he pulled back, his eyes were molten. Inside, he said roughly. Yow. Luna's pulse spiked. The children are asleep. With security outside their door. His hand slid down her arm. Intertwined their fingers. Come with me. It wasn't a request. Luna let him lead her inside. They made it as far as his study before restraint shattered completely. The door locked behind them. Dario's mouth found hers again. Desperate. Flaming. Luna's back hit his desk. Papers scattered. His hands mapped her body over clothes. Burning. Memorizing. Tell me to stop, he breathed against her throat. No. Luna. Don't stop. Don't think. Just. He kissed her silent. His hands slid beneath her shirt. Warm against bare skin. Luna gasped. The tattoo on his chest pressed against her as he leaned closer. Script she couldn't read but could feel burning through fabric. Famiglia. Honor. Say. She traced it with trembling fingers. Dario groaned. You have no idea what you do to me, he said hoarsely. Show me. His eyes blazed. Then he lifted her onto the desk. Stepped between her legs. Kissed her like he was claiming her soul. Luna wrapped around him. Gave herself over completely. Everything blurred, hands and heat and gasping breaths and whispered words in Italian she didn't understand but felt in her bones. The world narrowed to this. His mouth on hers. His hands on her skin. His heart hammering against her palm. Reality faded. Nothing existed except a knock on the door. They froze. Boss. Marco's voice. We have a situation. Dario's forehead dropped to Luna's shoulder. His entire body shook with restraint. Dario. Luna whispered. He pulled back. Eyes dark. Jaw tight. I have to. I know. He cupped her face. Kissed her once more. Soft. Aching. This isn't over, he promised. Then he was gone. Luna sat alone on his desk, clothes disheveled, heart racing, and realized with terrifying clarity. She just crossed a line there was no coming back from. And she didn't regret it at all. Luna has just crossed an irreversible line with Dario. Their relationship fundamentally changed. But Marco's interruption hints at danger approaching. And Luna is now emotionally invested in a man whose enemies won't hesitate to use her to destroy him. Luna didn't see Dario for 3 days. He left that night and didn't return. No explanation. No message. Just gone. The triplets asked for him constantly. Papa's working, Luna said, forcing brightness into her voice. But at night, alone in her room, she replayed that kiss. That desk. Those hands. That promise. This isn't over. Except maybe it was. Maybe Marco's interruption had given Dario time to remember all the reasons this was impossible. Maybe he'd realized crossing that line with his children's nanny was a mistake he couldn't afford. Maybe she'd imagined the heat in his eyes. Luna threw herself into routine. Breakfast. Playtime. Stories. Anything to stop thinking about him. It didn't work. On the fourth morning, Dario returned. Luna was in the garden with the triplets when his car pulled up. What? Expensive. Windows tinted like armor. Her pulse jumped. The door opened. Dario emerged looking like he hadn't slept in days. Suit wrinkled. Jaw shadowed. But the tattoo at his collar was stark as ever. Script that looked like a promise or a curse. His eyes found hers immediately. Everything else disappeared. Papa. The triplets rushed him. He caught them smiling, but his gaze stayed locked on Luna over their heads. Heat. What? Apology. She couldn't breathe. I missed you, Piccoli, Dario murmured, kissing each boy's head. You were gone forever, Matteo accused. I know. I'm sorry. Luna said you were working. Dario's gaze flickered to her. Luna was right. Nico tugged his sleeve. Can we show you our fort? Of course. The boys dragged him toward their blanket construction. Dario followed, but his attention kept drifting back to Luna. She pretended to focus on her book. Failed miserably. That evening, after the children were asleep, Luna found a note slipped under her door. Library. Midnight. Please. D. Her hands trembled holding it. He should ignore it. Should maintain distance. Should remember that whatever happened in his study was a moment of weakness they both needed to forget. At 11:58 she was standing outside the library door. It opened before she could knock. Dario stood backlit by firelight. Still in his suit. Tattoo visible where his collar hung open. You came, he said quietly. You asked. I wasn't sure you would. Luna stepped inside. The door closed behind her with a soft click. They stood in shadow and firelight, too far apart, the silence heavy with everything unsaid. I'm sorry, Dario said finally. For disappearing. For not explaining. You don't owe me explanations. Yes, I do. He moved closer. That night, what happened between us? Luna's chest tightened. Was a mistake. I understand. No. His voice was sharp. It wasn't a mistake. She blinked. Dario closed the distance. Stopped just short of touching. I left because if I'd stayed I would have finished what we started, he said roughly. And you deserve better than being taken on a desk like some. He stopped. Jaw clenched. You deserve care. Respect. Time. Luna's pulse hammered. I didn't ask for time. I know. But I'm giving it anyway. His hand came up, hovering near her face. Because this isn't just physical for me. It hasn't been for a long time. Dario. Let me finish. His eyes burned. I've spent 3 days trying to convince myself to end this. To send you away before it goes further. To protect you from what being with me means. And I can't. His voice broke. I can't let you go. Luna's throat closed. I'm selfish, Dario continued. I know all the reasons this is wrong. I know I'm putting you in danger just by wanting you. But he swallowed hard. I haven't felt this alive in years. And it terrifies me. She reached up, cupping his face. The stubble rasped against her palm. I'm terrified too, she whispered. Then we're both fools. Probably. His hand finally touched her. Covered hers. Pressed it against his cheek. I can't promise safety, Dario said. Or normalcy. Or anything resembling a regular life. I don't want regular. Luna. I want you. She stepped closer. Dangerous. Complicated. Impossible. I want all of it. Dario's eyes closed. When they opened they were molten. If we do this, he said carefully, it changes everything. The children. The household. My family. There will be questions. Judgment. Danger. I know. And you're still willing? Are you? Instead of answering, Dario pulled her close. Kissed her like he was sealing a vow. Slow. Flaming. When they broke apart, his forehead rested against hers. I want to do this right, he murmured. Court you. Take you to dinner. Show you that you're more than. I don't need dinner. You deserve it. I need you to stop treating me like I'll break. Dario's grip tightened. You don't understand what you're asking. Then show me. His control wavered. Luna. Show me, she repeated. Stop holding back. Something snapped. Dario's mouth crashed onto hers. No gentleness. Just raw need. Luna matched him. Met his intensity with her own. His hands slid into her hair. Down her spine. Gripped her hips. She gasped into his mouth. He walked her backward. Her back hit the wall. Tell me to stop, he breathed. No. I won't be gentle. Good. Dario groaned. Kissed her harder. His thigh pressed between hers. Luna's world tilted. Everything was heat and want and finally no restraint. His mouth moved to her throat. Her collarbone. The sensitive spot behind her ear. She arched into him. Dario. Say it again. Dario. His name became a prayer. Time blurred. Minutes or hours. She couldn't tell. Just his hands learning her body. His mouth mapping every inch of exposed skin. The tattoo pressed against her chest like a brand. When he lifted her, she wrapped her legs around him. He carried her to the leather couch. Laid her down with surprising gentleness despite the desperation in his eyes. You're sure? He asked hoarsely. Yes. Once we cross this. I know. There's no going back. I don't want to go back. Dario's expression cracked. Neither do I. He kissed her again. Slower now. Reverent. His hands trembled slightly as they mapped her curves. Found the hem of her shirt. Luna arched, giving permission. The fabric disappeared. Dario stared at her like she was something sacred. Beautiful, he murmured. Then his mouth followed where his hands had been. Luna lost herself completely. The world narrowed to sensation. To the rasp of his stubble. The warmth of his breath. The tattoo flexing beneath her fingers as she gripped his shoulders. Nothing existed except this. Except him. Fade to black. Later they lay tangled together on the couch. Fire dying. Breathing slowly returning to normal. Dario's fingers traced patterns on her bare shoulder. The tattoo on his chest rose and fell with each breath. Luna felt boneless. Wrecked. Complete. Stay with me tonight, Dario said quietly. The children are asleep. Security's outside their door. And his voice roughened. I need you close. Luna shifted to look at him. His expression was open in a way she'd never seen. Vulnerable. Okay, she whispered. Something in his eyes softened. He kissed her forehead. Pulled a throw blanket over them both. They lay in silence, wrapped in each other until Luna spoke. What happens now? Dario's hand stilled on her shoulder. What do you want to happen? I want to know what this is. What we are. What do you think we are? Luna propped herself up on one elbow. Don't do that. Don't turn this into a negotiation. His lips curved slightly. Force of habit. Dario. He sobered. Cupped her face. You're mine, he said simply. If you'll have me. With all the complications that entails. Luna's heart stuttered. Yours. Mine to protect. Mine to care for. Mine too, he stopped. Swallowed hard. Yes. Mine. It should have sounded possessive. Controlling. Instead it sounded like a promise. And you? Luna asked. Are you mine? Dario's expression turned fierce. Completely. She kissed him. Soft. Sweet. Then we'll figure out the rest, she said. They didn't tell the children immediately. Dario wanted to wait. To make sure Luna was certain. To establish boundaries and protocols. But the triplets weren't stupid. They noticed Luna smiling more. Noticed their father watching her during dinner. Noticed the way he found excuses to stand close. One morning Matteo asked point blank, Do you love Luna? Dario nearly choked on his coffee. Luna's face burned. All three boys stared at their father waiting. Dario set his cup down carefully. The tattoo flexed along his wrist. Yes, he said simply. I do. Matteo grinned. Good. We love her too. And just like that it was settled. But the outside world was less accepting. Dario's family noticed the shift immediately. His youngest brother Antonio cornered Luna in the hallway one afternoon. You're sleeping with him, Antonio said without preamble. Luna's spine stiffened. That's none of your business. It is when it affects his judgment. Antonio leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Tattoos visible along both forearms. You're a distraction he can't afford. I'm not a distraction. No. His smile was sharp. Then what are you? The nanny he's fucking? The poor girl he's slumming with? Luna's hand moved before she thought. The slap echoed in the hallway. Antonio's head snapped to the side. When he looked back, his expression was stunned. Touch me again, Luna said coldly, and I'll do worse. For a moment, silence. Then Antonio laughed. Actually laughed. Okay, he said, rubbing his jaw. I see it now. See what? Why he chose you. Antonio pushed off the wall. You've got spine. Good. You'll need it. He walked away, leaving Luna shaking with adrenaline. That evening, Dario found the handprint still faint on his brother's face. Which one of you touched her? His voice was deadly quiet. The family dinner went silent. Antonio raised his hand lazily. Relax. I deserved it. Damn right you did. Dario's gaze swept the table. Let me be clear. Luna is under my protection. Anyone who disrespects her, threatens her, or so much as looks at her wrong answers to me. Understood. His brothers nodded. His cousins murmured agreement. Marco smiled into his wine glass. She's not just the nanny anymore, Dario continued. She's mine. Which makes her family. Treat her accordingly. The message was clear. Touch her and die. But protection couldn't stop everything. The Romano family hadn't forgotten their humiliation. They'd been planning. Watching. Waiting for the right moment to strike. It came on a Tuesday. Luna was at the market with the triplets. A weekly routine. Security flanked them, but she'd grown comfortable. Complacent. They were looking at fruit when she felt it. The prickle of being watched. She turned. A man stood 3 stalls away. Expensive suit. Cold eyes. Staring directly at her. Luna's instincts screamed. She gathered the boys quickly. Time to go. But we didn't get strawberries. Now Nico. Security moved closer, sensing her tension. They made it to the car. But as they pulled away, Luna saw the man again. Watching. Memorizing. She pulled out her phone with shaking hands. Texted Dario, we might have a problem. His response was immediate. Where are you? Heading home. There was a man at the market. Watching. Description. He sent it. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then, get inside. Lock down. I'm coming. Dario arrived within the hour. Luna had the children in their room, security doubled, every entrance monitored. He found her in the hallway pacing. Luna. She turned. He crossed the space in 3 strides. Pulled her against him. You're safe, he murmured into her hair. I've got you. The children are fine. Security's tripled. No one's getting in. Luna's hands fisted in his shirt. Who was he? Dario pulled back enough to meet her eyes. His expression was grim. Romano's nephew. Carlo. Her blood froze. Why would he? To send a message. Dario's jaw tightened. They know about you. About us. So they're threatening me to get to you. Yes. Luna's mind raced. You should send me away. No. Dario. No. His hands cupped her face. I told you before. You're mine. Which means you're protected. Always. But if staying puts the children at risk. The children are at risk regardless. This life. He gestured vaguely. There are always threats. Always enemies. Sending you away changes nothing except making us all miserable. You can't know that. I can. His eyes burned. Because they'll use whatever leverage they find. If not you, then someone else. The only difference is whether I'm protecting someone I love or someone I don't. The word hung between them. Love. He'd said it. Luna's breath caught. Dario's expression shifted. Vulnerable. Hidden. He started. Luna kissed him. Poured everything into it. All her fear. Her trust. Her answer. When they broke apart, she whispered, I love you too. Dario closed his eyes. Pressed his forehead to hers. Then you stay, he said hoarsely. And I keep you safe. Promise. On everything I am. The Romano situation escalated quickly. They made their move 3 days later. Luna was reading to the children when gunfire erupted outside. She reacted instantly. Threw them into the closet. Locked the door. Called Dario. Stay down, he ordered. Security's handling it. More gunfire. Shouting. Then silence. Luna held all three boys, their faces buried in her chest, her own heart hammering. Minutes felt like hours. Finally the door unlocked. Dario stood there, gun in hand, tattoo stark against pale knuckles. It's over, he said quietly. Luna didn't move. Couldn't process. Dario knelt in front of them. Set the gun aside carefully. Hey Piccoli, he said gently. You're safe now. Matteo peeked out. Papa. I'm here. All three boys launched themselves at him. Dario caught them holding tight, eyes closed. Over their heads his gaze found Luna's. I've got you, it said. She nodded, not trusting her voice. Later, after the children were finally asleep, Dario found Luna on the terrace. She stood at the railing, staring at nothing, arms wrapped around herself. He approached slowly, like she might bolt. Luna. She didn't turn. Dario moved behind her. Not touching. His clothes. Talk to me, he said quietly. I knew this life was dangerous, she said. Intellectually. But today. I know. They could have been hurt. The children. Because of. Don't. His voice was sharp. Don't finish that sentence. It's true. It's not. Dario's hands gripped her shoulders. Turned her to face him. They're targets because of me. Because of this family. You didn't cause this. But I'm another vulnerability. You're the reason I have something worth protecting. His eyes blazed. Before you I was going through motions. Surviving. Now I'm living. And yes, that makes me vulnerable. But I'd rather be vulnerable and alive than safe and empty. Luna's eyes burned. I can't lose you, she whispered. You won't. You can't promise that. Watch me. Dario pulled her close. I will burn this city to the ground before I let anyone touch you. It should have sounded extreme. Instead it sounded like a vow. Luna buried her face in his chest. Felt the tattoo beneath fabric. Felt his heartbeat steady and strong. What happens now? She asked. How we end this? His voice was cold. Final. Permanently. The war with the Romano family lasted 2 weeks. Dario disappeared into his world of violence and strategy. Luna saw him only in stolen moments, late nights when he'd slip into her room, exhausted and blood-stained, just to hold her. Early mornings when he'd watch her make breakfast like she was the only real thing in his life. The children sensed the tension. Became clingy. Luna held them together through sheer force of will. She read stories. Made forts. Created games. Anything to keep their world feeling normal while their father waged war outside. Mrs. Greco watched her with something like respect. You're stronger than you look, the older woman said one afternoon. Luna smiled without humor. I'm terrified. Strength isn't the absence of fear. It's functioning despite it. Is that a Kalana family motto? It should be. The end came suddenly. Luna woke to find Dario in her room. Not bloody. Not exhausted. Sitting in the chair by her window watching her sleep. Dario, she whispered. It's over. She sat up. The Romanos? Carlo's dead. His uncle's in hiding. The family's fractured. His voice was flat. It's over. Luna scrambled out of bed. Crossed to him. Dario looked hollow. She knelt in front of him. Took his hands. The tattoos were stark against pale skin. There was blood under his fingernails. Look at me, she said gently. He did. His eyes were haunted. How many? He asked hoarsely. Luna didn't pretend to misunderstand. How many what? How many lives do I have to take before you see me for what I am? Her chest ached. I already see you. No. You see what you want to see. But his voice broke. I'm a killer, Luna. I've taken dozens of lives. Destroyed families. Ruined people. To protect your own. Does that make it better? It makes it survival. Dario's laugh was bitter. You're so damn good. And I'm human. Luna squeezed his hands. Complicated. Trying your best in an impossible situation. I don't deserve you. Probably not. She smiled slightly. But you're stuck with me anyway. He stared at her. Searching for something. Whatever he found made his expression crack. Dario pulled her into his lap. Buried his face in her neck. Don't leave, he whispered. Please. Whatever happens, don't leave. Luna wrapped around him. Never. Promise. I promise. They stayed like that until dawn. Life slowly returned to something resembling normal. The Romano threat was eliminated. Territory disputes settled. Business continued. Dario spent more time home. More time with the children. More time with Luna. They fell into a rhythm. A routine. Something that felt almost domestic. Breakfast together. Days spent with the triplets. Evenings on the terrace. Nights tangled in each other. It was the happiest Luna had ever been. Which, of course, meant something had to shatter it. The threat came from an unexpected direction. Not enemies. Family. Dario's mother arrived unannounced one morning. Vittoria Colonna was 70, elegant and terrifying. She swept into the mansion like she owned it, which technically she partly did. Where are my grandsons? She demanded. Mrs. Greco scurried to find them. Luna was in the garden when Vittoria appeared. The older woman's gaze raked over her. Assessing. Judging. You're the nanny. Yes, ma'am. The one sleeping with my son. Luna's spine stiffened. Yes. Vittoria circled her slowly. You're younger than I expected. Prettier. Less. Suitable. Suitable for what? To be a Colonna. The words landed like a slap. I'm not trying to be a Colonna, Luna said carefully. No? Then what are you trying to be? Happy. Vittoria stopped. Studied her with sharp eyes. My son has responsibilities, she said finally. To this family. To his children. To the business. There are expectations. Standards. I'm aware. Are you? Because from where I stand you're a distraction. A complication he doesn't need. Luna's hands clenched. With respect, ma'am, that's between Dario and me. Nothing in this family is just between two people. Vittoria's voice was cold. Every choice affects everyone. And choosing a penniless maid over a strategic alliance weakens us. I'm not asking him to choose. You already did. The moment you spread your legs. The cruelty in those words stole Luna's breath. Before she could respond, a voice cut through the garden. Enough. Dario stood in the doorway. Fury radiating off him in waves. The tattoo along his collarbone was stark. His hands clenched into fists. She's my mother, Dario said quietly. Dangerously. And you will show her respect. Respect. Vittoria turned on him. Like the respect you're showing this family by. I said enough. His voice dropped to barely a whisper. You don't speak to her that way. Ever. Mother and son faced off. The air crackled with tension. Finally Vittoria smiled. Calculating. We'll discuss this inside, she said. Alone. She swept past, leaving Luna shaking. Dario started to follow, but Luna caught his arm. Don't fight with her because of me, she said quietly. She insulted you. She's your mother. And he stopped. Jaw clenched. You're more important. The words hung between them. Then Dario kissed her forehead and followed his mother inside. Luna stood alone in the garden, realizing with cold clarity. This was only the beginning. The argument lasted hours. Raised voices echoed through the mansion. Glass shattered. Doors slammed. Luna kept the children occupied, but they heard enough to be frightened. Why is Nana mad at Papa? Matteo asked. They're just talking, Luna lied. It doesn't sound like talking. No, it didn't. Finally, silence. Luna got the boys settled for their nap and went to find Dario. He was in his study, standing at the window, shoulders tight. The tattoo was visible where his shirt hung open. Bruises darkened his knuckles. From hitting what? The wall. The desk? Dario. He didn't turn. Luna approached carefully. What did she say? That I'm being foolish. Selfish. Weak. His voice was flat. That choosing you over a strategic marriage is going to cost the family everything. Luna's stomach dropped. Strategic marriage? There's a family in Naples. Old money. Powerful connections. He turned then. His expression was tortured. My mother negotiated terms before my wife died. Expected me to honor them eventually. And will you? No. The word was absolute. Never. But your family can go to hell. Dario crossed to her. Cupped her face. I told her I'd rather burn every alliance we have than give you up. Luna's throat closed. Dario. I'm done compromising. Done sacrificing. Done choosing duty over. He stopped. Swallowed hard. Over love. There it was again. That word. Your mother will never accept me, Luna whispered. Then she doesn't have to be part of our lives. You'd cut her off? If she makes me choose? His eyes burned. Yes. Without hesitation. Luna closed her eyes. This is exactly what she warned me about. That being with you means affecting everyone. Weakening the family. Or it means making the family stronger. Reminding everyone that there's more to this life than alliances and territory. That's idealistic. That's love. Dario's thumbs brushed her cheeks. And I'm choosing it. Choosing you. Every single time. Luna wanted to believe him. But the weight of Vittoria's words pressed down. Penniless maid. Unsuitable. Distraction. Maybe she was all those things. Maybe loving Dario wasn't enough. The next morning Luna made a decision. She found Dario in his office, reviewing contracts. I'm leaving, she said without preamble. His head snapped up. What? Not the children. Not you. Just. He swallowed. The house. Temporarily. I think I should get my own place. Dario stood slowly. Why? Because your mother's right. Living here, being with you like this, it sends a message. To your family. To your enemies. That I'm mine, Dario finished coldly. Which you are. That I'm a weakness. You're my strength. Dario. No. He rounded the desk. You promised you wouldn't quit. I'm not quitting. I'll still care for the children. Still be in your life. But living here, sleeping in your bed, it's complicated. Since when do you care about complicated? Since your mother threatened to destroy everything you've built because of me. The words exploded out of her. Silence fell. Dario stared at her. She threatened you? Not directly. But the message was clear. I'm a liability. And staying here makes it worse. So you're running. Luna flinched. I'm being practical. You're scared. Yes. Her voice broke. I'm terrified. Because loving you means watching you choose between me and your family. And I can't. Tears spilled over. I can't be the reason you lose everything. Dario moved fast. Pulled her against him. You're not, he said fiercely. You're the reason I have something worth keeping. Luna shook her head against his chest. Listen to me. Dario tilted her chin up. My mother is powerful. Manipulative. She knows exactly how to twist words and plant doubt. But she's wrong. Is she? Yes. His gaze burned. Because a family built on duty without love isn't worth protecting. And I won't sacrifice you to maintain something hollow. But the children need you. Need us. Together. His jaw clenched. Don't let her win, Luna. Don't let fear drive you away. Luna wanted to believe him. Wanted to be brave enough. But Vittoria's words echoed. Choosing a penniless maid over a strategic alliance weakens us. I need time, she whispered. To think. Dario's expression shuddered. How much time? I don't know. His hands dropped. Step back. The distance between them felt like miles. Fine, he said quietly. Take your time. But know this. I'm not giving up on us. No matter what my mother says. No matter how long you need. He turned back to his desk. Dismissed. Luna fled before she could change her mind. She lasted 3 days. 3 days of sleeping in her small room instead of his bed. 3 days of the triplets asking why she looked sad. 3 days of watching Dario from a distance, seeing the same pain in his eyes. On the 4th morning she found him on the terrace. Same spot. Same cigarette. Same haunted expression. I was wrong, she said. He turned. Hope flickered in his eyes. Your mother got in my head, Luna continued. Made me doubt. Made me think I wasn't enough. You're more than enough. I know that now. She moved closer. Because the past 3 days have been miserable. And I realized something. What? That I'd rather fight beside you than live safely without you. Dario's expression cracked. I'm done being scared, Luna said. Done letting other people define what we are. If your family doesn't accept me, that's their problem. Not mine. Luna. I love you. The words came easily now. And I'm staying. In your bed. In your life. In this family. Whether they like it or not. Dario closed the distance. Kissed her like she was oxygen. When they broke apart, he pressed his forehead to hers. Marry me, he whispered. Luna's world stopped. What? Marry me. Dario pulled back enough to meet her eyes. Not someday. Not eventually. No. This week. Tomorrow if you'll have me. Dario, that's insane. Impulsive. Too fast. He smiled slightly. I don't care. I know what I want. Who I want. And I'm done waiting for the right time or the right circumstances. Luna's pulse raced. Your family. Will deal with it. Or they won't. Either way, I'm choosing you. The children. Already love you. Already see you as theirs. She stopped. Yes. Dario blinked. Yes. Yes, I'll marry you. His smile was blinding. He kissed her again. Lifted her off her feet. Spun her around. When he set her down, both were laughing. I don't have a ring, Dario said. I don't care. I'll get you one. The biggest. I don't need big. I just need you. His eyes softened. You have me. Always. They stood wrapped in each other, the morning sun painting everything gold. For the first time in months, Luna felt certain. This was right. This was home. This was Papa. Luna. They turned. All three triplets stood in the doorway, grinning. We heard. Matteo announced. Dario laughed. Of course you did. Nico rushed forward. You're getting married? Yes. Does that mean Luna's our mama now? Luna's throat closed. Dario looked at her. Silent question. She knelt down eye level with the boys. If that's what you want, she said gently. I would be honored. All three tackled her in a hug. Over their heads, Luna's eyes met Dario's. He mouthed, thank you. She smiled. This was worth fighting for. They married quickly. Quietly. Just family. The children. A judge. Dario's brothers attended. His mother did not. Luna wore a simple dress. Dario wore a suit with the tattoo visible at his collar. When the judge asked for rings, Dario produced a band of platinum inscribed with Italian, Mia per sempre. Mine forever. He slipped it on her finger with shaking hands. Luna's ring for him matched. Tua per sempre. Yours forever. When they kissed, the children cheered. And for one perfect moment, everything was right. But peace never lasted in the Kalana world. 2 months after the wedding, a new threat emerged. Not from enemies. From within. One of Dario's cousins, Luca, had been skimming from the family business. Small amounts. Over years. Enough to fund a betrayal. He'd been feeding information to competitors. Selling territory. Undermining Dario's authority. When the evidence surfaced, Dario called a meeting. The entire family gathered. Luna stayed with the children, but she heard the aftermath. Shouting. Accusations. Luca's desperate pleas. Then silence. Dario returned hours later. Bloodstained. Hollow-eyed. It's done, he said flatly. Luna didn't ask what it meant. She just held him while he shook. The betrayal shook the family. Trust fractured. Alliances shifted. And in the chaos, someone else made their move. A rival family. The Bianchis. They'd been waiting for weakness. Found it in the Kalana infighting. They struck at dawn. Gunfire erupted. The mansion went into lockdown. Luna grabbed the children. Ran for the safe room. Security fought back. But the attackers were prepared. They breached the first floor. Then the second. Dario appeared, gun in hand, face grim. Stay in the safe room, he ordered. Don't come out until I tell you. Dario. I love you. He kissed her hard. Fast. Keep them safe. Then he was gone. Luna locked them in. Held the terrified children. Listened to the gunfire. Prayed. It felt like hours. Then silence. The door unlocked. Dario stood there. Alive. Bleeding from his shoulder but alive. It's over, he said. Luna burst into tears. The aftermath was brutal. The Bianchi attack left casualties. Damage. Trauma. The children had nightmares for weeks. Luna held them through it all. But she was breaking too. One night after the boys finally slept, she found Dario on the terrace. I can't do this, she said. He turned. Fear flashed in his eyes. Can't do what? Live like this. Waiting for the next attack. Wondering if today's the day you don't come home. Tears streamed down her face. I'm not strong enough. Dario crossed to her. Yes, you are. I'm not. I'm terrified every second. And the children, they're so young. They shouldn't have to live in fear. I know. His voice was rough. I know. And I'm trying. Trying isn't enough. He pushed at his chest. Your mother was right. I'm a weakness. A distraction. And now I'm putting your children at risk because I can't. Stop. Dario grabbed her hands. Don't do this. Don't let fear. It's not just fear. It's reality. Luna met his eyes. Maybe we made a mistake. Maybe loving each other isn't enough when it means. Don't. His voice broke. Don't say it. Dario. I will leave. She blinked. What? The business. The family. All of it. His eyes blazed. I'll walk away. We'll disappear. Start over somewhere safe. You can't do that. Watch me. His grip tightened. I've spent my whole life serving this family. Sacrificing for duty. For legacy. But none of it matters without you. Luna's chest ached. Your children will be safer away from this life. You said it yourself. But your brothers, your empire, everything you've built, means nothing if I lose you. Dario cupped her face. So I'm choosing a life where we're not constantly looking over our shoulders. You'd really walk away? For you? Yes. Without hesitation. Luna stared at him, seeing the truth in his eyes. He meant it. He would sacrifice everything. For her. The realization broke something in her chest. No, she whispered. Dario froze. What? No. You don't get to give up everything because I had a moment of weakness. Luna straightened. This family is your legacy. Your responsibility. And you're my heart. His voice was raw. What good is an empire if I'm empty inside? Then we make it work. Luna took his hands. We find a way. Together. But I won't let you destroy everything because I was scared. Luna. I married you knowing what this life meant. What it would cost. She swallowed hard. And yes, I'm terrified. But I'm also strong enough to fight for us. Dario's expression cracked. You're sure? No. But I'm staying anyway. He pulled her close. Buried his face in her hair. I don't deserve you, he murmured. You're right. Luna smiled against his chest. But you're stuck with me. They stood wrapped together under stars. And slowly the fear faded. Replaced by something stronger. Determination. Things changed after that night. Dario restructured the business. Delegated more. Spent less time in dangerous situations. He hired additional security. Fortified the mansion. Created protocols. But most importantly, he made time. For the children. For Luna. For family that didn't involve violence. They found a rhythm. A balance. It wasn't perfect. There were still threats. Still danger. But they faced it together. 6 months later, Luna discovered she was pregnant. She told Dario at breakfast. In front of the children. His fork clattered to his plate. You're pregnant. Yes. The triplets erupted into cheers. Dario stood. Crossed to her. Lifted her into his arms. Say it again, he demanded. I'm pregnant. He kissed her. Thorough. Claiming. When they broke apart, tears streamed down his face. Happy tears? Luna asked. The happiest. The pregnancy wasn't easy. Luna was sick for months. Exhausted. Emotional. But Dario was there. Every step. He held her hair during morning sickness. Rubbed her feet at night. Read baby books obsessively. The triplets were thrilled. Constantly talking to her belly. Asking questions. Will the baby like worms? Nico asked seriously. Luna laughed. Maybe. Can we teach it to build forts? Definitely. Matteo pressed his ear to her stomach. I hear it. That's probably lunch, sweetheart. No, it's the baby. It's saying hello. Luna's throat closed. These boys. This life. This man. It was more than she'd ever dreamed. 7 months in, complications arose. Luna started bleeding. Was rushed to the hospital. Dario didn't leave her side. He held her hand through tests. Through scares. Through tears. I can't lose you, he said hoarsely. Or the baby. I can't. You won't. Luna squeezed his hand. We're fighters. All of us. The doctor stabilized her. Ordered bed rest. Dario moved heaven and earth to make it happen. He worked from home. Hired nurses. Managed the triplets single-handedly. And every night he climbed into bed beside her. Careful not to jostle. His present. Talk to me, Luna said one evening. About what? Anything. I'm bored out of my mind. Dario smiled. Traced patterns on her swollen belly. I've been thinking, he said. Dangerous. About names. Luna's heart swelled. Yeah. If it's a girl. Yeah. After my grandmother. I like that. And if it's a boy. Whatever you want. What about Antonio? After your brother. Dario's expression softened. He'd like that. They lay in comfortable silence. Then Luna spoke. I'm scared. I know. What if something goes wrong? Then we handle it. Together. Promise. Dario kissed her forehead. Always. The baby came early. Luna went into labor at 36 weeks. Panic. Rush. Hospital. Dario gripped her hand through every contraction. Every scream. Every moment. You can do this, he murmured. You're the strongest person I know. I can't. You can. Breathe with me. Hours blurred. Then finally a cry. It's a girl, the doctor announced. Luna sobbed. Dario kissed her temple. You did it. She's perfect. They placed the baby in Luna's arms. Tiny. Pink. Screaming. Absolutely perfect. Lucia, Luna whispered. The baby quieted at her voice. Dario stared at his daughter with wonder. She has your eyes. And your nose. Poor thing. Luna laughed through tears. Dario carefully touched Lucia's tiny hand. She gripped his finger. Hello, Piccola, he murmured. I'm your papa. And I promise to keep you safe. Always. Luna's heart cracked open. This was everything. The triplets met their sister the next day. They crowded around, eyes huge. She's so small, Matteo breathed. Can we hold her? Nico asked. Carefully, Dario said. He helped each boy hold Lucia. Supervised closely. Their faces were reverent. Odd. I'm the best big brother, Luca declared. We're all the best, Matteo corrected. We'll protect her, Nico said seriously. Like Papa protects us. Dario's eyes met Luna's over the children's heads. Thank you, he mouthed. For what she wanted to ask. But she knew. For staying. For fighting. For building this impossible, beautiful family. Life settled into a new rhythm. 4 children. 2 parents. 1 chaotic, loving home. It wasn't the life Luna had imagined. It was better. Yes, there were still threats. Still danger. Still moments of fear. But there was also laughter. Love. Belonging. One evening, months after Lucia's birth, Luna found Dario in the nursery. He sat in the rocking chair, daughter asleep on his chest, humming softly. The tattoo was visible along his collarbone. Famiglia. Honor. Say. Family. Honor. Blood. Finally, those words made sense. Luna leaned against the doorframe, watching. Dario looked up. Smiled. Can't put her down, he whispered. Don't have to. The boys are asleep? Finally. Come here. Luna crossed the room. Perched on the arm of the chair. Dario's free hand found hers. Intertwined their fingers. I love you, he said quietly. I know. No, I mean. He struggled for words. Before you I was just existing. Going through motions. But you gave me a reason. A purpose beyond just survival. Luna's throat tightened. You saved me, Dario continued. In every way that matters. We saved each other. He smiled. Kissed her hand. They sat in the quiet nursery. Their daughter sleeping. Their family safe. And Luna realized something profound. She'd come to this mansion desperate. Broke. Invisible. And found everything she'd been missing. Love. Family. Home. Not in spite of the danger. But because of the man brave enough to fight for it. I love you too, she whispered. All of you. This whole messy, complicated, beautiful life. Dario's eyes glistened. Forever, he asked. Luna smiled. Forever. And they meant it. Through threats and attacks and family drama. Through pregnancies and sleepless nights and chaos. Through everything that came next. They would face it together. Famiglia. Honor. Say. Family. Honor. Blood. Their family. Their honor. Their blood. Together. Always. The end.